Hello and welcome to episode number 5 of OJ's Books, where I talk about books, sometimes review them, and often go off on tangents about things. Today's episode is a review of a book called Finlay Donovan is Killing It by Elle Cosimano. As always, I will start by giving you the synopsis as it appears on Goodreads, and then I will talk about the book. So here goes. The book blurb of Finlay Donovan is Killing It. Finlay Donovan is killing it, except she's really not. She's a stressed out single mom of two and struggling novelist. Finlay's life is in chaos. The new book she promised her literary agent isn't written. Her ex husband fired the nanny without telling her, and this morning she had to send her 4-year-old to school with her hair duct taped to her head after an incident with scissors. When Finlay is overheard discussing the plot of her new suspense novel with her agent over lunch, she is mistaken for a contract killer and inadvertently accepts an offer to dispose of a problem husband in order to make ends meet. Soon, Finlay discovers that crime in real life is a lot more difficult than its fictional counterpart as she becomes tangled in a real life murder investigation. On to the review now. The book review of Finlay Donovan is Killing It by Elle Cosimano. An author goes to Panera for lunch and gets recruited as a hitman. Wait, what? Yeah, this is the story of Finlay Donovan. I listened to the audiobook and I think it really made the story better. It was an enjoyable enough story anyway, but it was made much better by the narrator in my opinion. The book as a whole has a pretty interesting setup, and I was definitely intrigued to see how it would play out. Finlay and her nanny are really brave to deal with the situations they have to deal with, yet, of course, they get shaken at instances. And that's very normal for the kind of characters they are and the kind of situation they're in. The way they behave makes it believable, even with such an outlandish situation. And no spoilers because all of this information is in the blurb. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about some of the other characters. The author was certainly not trying to make too many of them likable, and she definitely did a good job of it. The plot itself and some of the reveals were slightly simplistic, for lack of a better word. It's a perfectly good plot and engaging, but what I mean by that is it didn't have any shocking reveals and it didn't blindside me in any way. And I kind of want mystery books to do that, especially when you give away such a major plot point in the blurb just like that. Also, does it bother anyone else that so many blurbs nowadays give away so much of the story? As to movie trailers, it definitely bugs me. I don't know about you, but I don't want to know so much of the plot in the trailer or the blurb. Like, let me discover the story on my own. You know what I mean? And that's also why the seeming contrast, in my opinion, because I like the idea, I like the characters, but the plot isn't very layered or intriguing in itself. As a caveat here, I have to say it seems to work for the book, considering it's a bestseller and has launched a series. I think, and this is just my theory, is because this book cuts across multiple genres in a sense, it can kind of get away with the plot being the way it is. Held to the standards of those genres on its own, however, I would definitely give it a lower rating. But it does the things it does well, just well enough to get by, and the setting and concept carries the whole thing quite a bit. So that's how I felt about this book as a whole, bringing me to a final verdict of neutral. I really have to say the audiobook was honestly great. It was really nice to listen to while doing chores around the house or cooking. I really think mystery is my preferred genre for audiobooks. Oh, and one last thing. The twist ending was a great setup for book 2, and I think that's part of why it managed to launch a series. Cozy mystery as a genre has many good contenders. I suppose this one qualifies because of the dark humor in it. Will I be picking up the second book? Maybe as an audiobook. Is it close to the top of my TBR list? Honestly, no. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this review. My fairly short review for Finlay Donovan is Killing It by Elle Cosimano. I hope you enjoyed this episode and I hope it added some value to you making a decision on whether you want to read this or not. If you have read it or if you're planning to read it, let me know in the comments or on the review link below or on Instagram at OJ's Books. Tell me what you thought about it. I have also figured out how to add blog links to show notes, so you'll find the blog link in the show notes below. My book blog link should also be in the About section of the podcast, but I don't know what channel you're listening to this on, so I'm just going to tell you anyway, and it's ohjustbooks.com. That's ohjustbooks.com. Till next time, keep reading as much as you can because books are awesome. Bye.